My goodness, there is a lot of controversy around this new S.Craft Saber 2 clipper, and we're going to talk about it. All right, so once again, man, there's just a lot of drama, controversy around this new S.Craft Saber 2 clipper, and understand why. Because many people are saying that S.Craft is charging way too much for their clippers, along with other clipper companies that are doing the same. And they said the reason they're so frustrated is because these are simply white labeled clippers that you can actually get off of Alibaba or AliExpress. And they said they're known as the MRD Smart Brain Clipper. Now, we don't know if S.Craft, took the idea, maybe it was white labeled and then they added some stuff on the inside. I have one person who was arguing saying that they have bought, these MRDs before and compared them to S.Craft clippers, and they are not the same, that they've, tweak some stuff. So it's like they might use the idea in the body, but then they tweak it and make it their own. Some, say otherwise. However, I will say this. I was going to do a comparison between the MRD Smart Brain Clipper and this one. And I thought, you know what? If it cuts the same and it has all the same specs, then we might have something to be frustrated about. However, as I was on Alibaba, AliExpress, I even went to Temu to try to find these clippers for like 30 bucks, what everybody was saying that they were costing on those particular sites. They didn't say Temu, I just checked that one myself. And anyways, I couldn't find any for less than, like the black ones, they were like $194 or $95, somewhere around there. And the green ones, the gold ones, all those, they were over $200. So I don't know exactly how much they're going to charge for these. Could be $250, some say $300. So it got me thinking, if these cost $200 and, all these people are frustrated because, you have to pay $50 to $100 more, I understand that is frustrating. However, at the same time, it is a business. And I was thinking, we don't get mad that Jordan sells his Jordans for, $200. I just bought some the other day for $215. But you know what? I can go on, these different websites and find some for like 20 bucks. I'm talking about Jordans made in the same factory. Some of them might have a little flaws or something. However, you can still get some, one-of-one type knockoffs that are like the real deal for like 20 bucks. But yet Jordan, is charging 200, 215, maybe more. And then people buy those Jordans when they drop, and then they sell them, for $400 or $500, $1,000. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the culture that we live in. I'm not sure. All I know is this. They sent me the clipper. It was free, and they wanted me to check it out and give my honest feedback. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and jump into this tutorial, and then at the end, I'll let you know what I think about this clipper. All right, with this haircut, we did a 2 open on the top. I didn't really record that for you, but now we're doing a 2 close in the parietal ridge area. As you can see, I'm leaning it in towards the top to blend into that 2 open that we did earlier. And we're gonna go ahead and do a fade down technique on this. So now I have the 1.5 guard on there all the way open. And we're just gonna go slightly under that number 2 close that we did just a minute ago. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and close that 1.5 guard, and we're just going to blend it right into that 1.5 open. Now we have the 1 open, and I'm going to drop a little bit lower, and I'm going to just kind of flick it right into that 1.5 close that we just did. As you can see, I'll go up a little bit higher, just using the corners, hitting any little dark spots I see in the blend that we did earlier. Now I close the number 1 guard all the way, and now I drop a little bit lower, and I'm just kind of flicking into that one open that we did prior. To try to blend those sections together, I just use a lot of my corners. All right, now we're gonna skip the half guard, and we're gonna actually make a line with the blade all the way open, no guard, and that's gonna kind of give us a guideline to see where we want that fade to drop in the front and where we want it to drop in the back. And then I'll start working my fade under that. So now I went ahead and closed the blade halfway, and I stay a little bit beneath that guideline that we just made. I might go up closer to the guideline if I see any dark spots, and I'll just use the corner of my blade to tap at those dark spots to make that look as smooth as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and close it all the way, dropping a little bit lower. I may have actually closed it all the way except for like 1 notch, and then I'll close it all the way. And you know, sometimes I'll just do some lever play, and I'll play between that all the way closed blade and just 1 notch open at the very bottom there. And I use a lot of the corners, just tapping around at dark spots. All right, now we put the half blade on, and we have it fully open at first. Actually, no, I did it halfway open, and I just kind of flick at that guideline that we made just a moment ago, just trying to knock that out, and I'll close it as needed. So right now on this new S.Craft Saber 2 clipper, I'm actually using the black Saber or the S.Craft tight guards, and they are really good, man. I usually put a master blade on all of my clippers. However, I decided this blade sounds so good and it cuts so smooth, and I really like these S.Craft tight guards. It just flows, everything flows so well together. I decided to keep the blade on there and just go ahead and use those guards as well. So I decided, being we were using the Sabers, that I would go ahead and use the Saber trimmers as well. I use these more for balding out, you know, so I don't have them set really good to do a lineup. I'll come back at the end and really tighten that lineup with my wall high-vis trimmers. However, right now we're going to go ahead and use the S.Craft Saber trimmer, and we're just going to go ahead and bald out the bottom. And as you can see, right around the line area that, you know, transitions into that bald, I just tap around with the corner, just trying to knock out any dark spots or lines that I see. And then I'll come up underneath that with a shaver in just a second. All right, so now I'm going to use my S.Craft Metal Instinct shavers and just shave out the bottom. As you can see, I flick down around that line where I want it to transition from, you know, that bald guideline to the bald on the bottom. I just flick down where that line should be, and then I shave up towards the area that I flick down on. Now I'm not worried about any kind of lines or anything like that, because I'll come back at the end and I'll use my shear over comb technique, and I'll just go ahead and clean that up. So basically the same thing that we did on the side, we're going to do in the back. I started out with the 1.5 open on the back instead of the 2 closed, simply because I really didn't think that it mattered. Plus, I want to kind of stretch this out a little bit. So now I have the number 1 open, and as you can see, I'm just covering a lot of ground here, just making sure I smooth all that down. And then I'll go ahead and close it, which I believe it's closed now. And I'll just go ahead and, just blend those together, dropping a little bit lower and just smoothing all that out, giving us a good canvas to fade into. Also, as you can see, he has a huge calic or swirl pattern in the back of his hair, even down in the fade area. So I have to make sure that I'm going in the right direction to go against the grain to cut that hair nice and short and smooth. So once again, with no guard on there, I'm going to go ahead and create a guideline. However, I'm kind of flicking up a little bit too. I want that guideline to be there so I can see where I want this fade to blend. However, I'm kind of flicking at it a little bit so it's not too harsh whenever I come in with that half guard. So now I close halfway, drop down a little bit lower. Once again, I've dropped a little bit lower than I did on the side just because I'm stretching this back area out. Because it is so dense and we want it to drop a little bit, I like to just stretch that out to give it a better blur. And then I'll just close that blade little by little until I get down to my bald area. Then I'll come back in with the trimmers and shave all that hair off the bottom. Alright, before I shave the hair off the bottom, I'm going to go ahead with my clipper all the way open. I'm using the half guard and just trying to blend that line out, and I will shut it halfway and then close it all the way, just trying to take the line out, blend those sections together, and then I'll work my way around the corner where those two tie together. If you're not familiar, those corner sections where you tie the fade from the back to the side together, they can be a little tricky sometimes because you want to make sure you blend those together, but also usually there's a little dip right there that creates a shadow. So we just want to pay attention to that and really work in those dips to try to make sure that we have the right shades, not just the right length of hair. Sometimes you got to go shorter down in those crevice areas. That way you can, really make the shades blend together. As you can see, it's coming together pretty nicely, but we'll have to sit there and continue to work it. So I will work with that half guard open, halfway close, and if I feel like I need to open it again a little more to tap some areas, I'll do that. But I just kind of stick with this guard, just continuing to work the different levels until I take that guard off, and then start working at that line with the blade open once again. All right, got the blade open, no guard, and I'll just get in there and tap basically any lines and dark spots, trying to tie these sections together. All right, now that we got it pretty much tied together, there's still some things that need to be touched up, obviously. I'll come back with my shear over comb technique like I was talking about earlier, just using the points to really tap at any lines or dark spots. For now, we'll just go ahead and bald out the bottom with the shaver, with the trimmer. I did shave the side already, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use the trimmer for now on the back and on this other side. And then I'll come back towards the end and hit it with a shaver. See, as you can see right now, I'm flicking down with my trimmer the same way I would with my shaver, and that does help knock those hairs down without creating any lines. So now that we did the other side, we're just gonna go ahead and comb those bangs down as much as possible and create the straightest line possible. I usually like to start in the middle and work my way out, you know, to the lowest corner, and then I'll go ahead and cross over and make that line even as possible. So now we'll hit that with the shaver, and this is where I come in with my shear over comb technique. As you can see, I'm not using the full blade, I'm just using the tip to knock out any little dark spots I see. It's almost like a thinning shear effect, because you're just using the tip to grab certain hairs or groupings of hairs, and you're just trying to thin those out so that way, you know, you get a more consistent blend. Right here you see a little dark spot, and I just come in tapping in it, just trying to lighten that spot up so that way the shades all look, you know, the same. Looking pretty good. We'll do the same thing to the other side. As you can see, right in that parietal ridge area, you know, it was a little hard to transition, so I hit that with the shears. Now I'm going to use the razor, and I went around the whole thing with the razor, and this is what we got right here. This is one side, here's the back, and then here's the other. Man, I hope you like this tutorial. All right, so after using these things, I must say I like them. They are a dope pair of clippers. You know, there's not too many clippers out there right now that I don't like. And the reason being is I feel like that we are in a day and time that, you know, they are just making good quality clippers. I mean, you can get some good quality clippers for like 40 bucks off Amazon. So I feel like the quality is there in the clippers. They do the job. Some do it a little bit better, and I feel like these do it a little bit better, a lot better. And I feel like also, man, that crunch sound, if you like that crunch sound, this thing has it. It also has that nice ring to it. But yeah, man, this thing, it's dope. It's dope. So because there's so many quality clippers on the market now that really get the job done, I think it just comes down to preference as far as ergonomics, you know, as far as weight and things like that. I feel like that this clipper has good ergonomics. You know, Matt stopped in here a moment ago and I let him see them, and he might have felt like they were a little too bulky for him. I like the way, I got bigger hands, man, so I love the way this thing feels. And I like the gamma boosted trimmers. I think that's what they're called. Kind of have that same square body, and they felt, you know, amazing to me as well. They hit really nice. So I really like this clipper. It's definitely going to stay in the arsenal. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this blade on here. You know, I like to change all my blades out. Usually I put on the master blade so I can use the purple magnetic clippers. Or excuse me, guards. But you know what? I think I'm going to keep it on here. And now if I wanted to put the master blade on here, it does come with an extra bracket in the box that has the master holes on there so that I can put the master blade on there. I got the master blade on my Instincts. I don't know if I'm going to put the master blade on this, but either way, I know that it's going to hit, whether it's this blade or the master blade. It has power, it sounds good, it feels good. It is a great clipper. So if you're looking to get something new, hey, these right here, I feel like this is where it's at. So there again, to me, great ergonomics, and they got the power to get the job done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.